All right, beautiful people. Welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we try to live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. And as usual, I have with me the curl-rific, the smiling, the self-love swaggy, the dancing queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, party people? My name is Sinclair, aka
The Health Nerd.
And we're joining you here on a Saturday afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not necessarily gloomy, but a little bit gloomy. Is that going to be an issue?
You know, we'll find out. This is, in case you
right.
don't know, we're testing a new little setup. We'll see how it goes. Y'all let us know in the comments below if this was unusually good or unusually bad.
Or neutral.
Right. If you even notice, just forget everything we just said.
Fast forward about 15 seconds.
Right.
The sun's coming out right now. Yes.
Yeah, it's been an interesting day of weather, of gloomy and sunny, which is kind of perfect because today we just found out who won the presidential election. Shout out to Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. Yes, history being made. I mean, 2020 has been a historic year.
Good and bad.
For good and bad all together, but definitely history, Black history being made today. So, huge shout out. Definitely interested to see, what comes from that. Definitely hoping to see some good stuff, but we're not getting into politics on here. Queen, how was your week? Talk to me, or talk to the people.
I want to talk to you too, though.
You want to talk to me? All right, go ahead, Queen. Go ahead.
My week was pretty good. Holistically. I kind of got back on my grind in terms of doing my morning routine consistently.
Which changed a little bit. I want to get into how your morning routine changed a little bit. Maybe, I don't know if you want to get in that now.
Yeah. And what change you talking about? For my affirmations?
Yeah, one, your affirmations. Two, your animal flow is different. Like that's a new addition, and you can explain what animal flow.
Yeah, so I'm not doing that consistently every single day.
Gotcha.
But so I switched up my affirmations. So before I've switched it up a couple of times, but because you just do whatever feels that is going to help you in the moment, right? So sometimes I got a lot of my brain, and so I just want to do a brain dump. Other times, maybe I want to do a to-do list. And then other times I want to do affirmations. So this week I've been focusing a lot on affirmations. And yeah, not any specific number. I just kind of, actually I made it a 2-part exercise.
Okay.
So the first thing I do, my notebook, is I say, what did you do well yesterday? Like, what are some things that you pat yourself on the back for yesterday? It can be as simple as you did your morning routine, or you said no to the donuts in the break room.
Hey, stay strong out there.
Look, it's hard, especially these days when I feel like people are turning to food to
Facts.
comfort, so it's very hard to resist. So yeah, it can be minute things, it can be big things, like, hey, you did something at work, or really well. So yeah, I've been kind of trying to train my mind to focus on the positive. So by but also for me personally, because I can be very self-critical. And so that's something that I've learned. And I think that is also something that I don't want to get too deep. This can go into a very deep conversation, but I think that has hindered me from meeting my weight loss goals.
Okay.
So I'm trying to go on the good job for doing that, little things, so that it's not so much criticism in my brain.
Which is important, because we already know that your love language is words of affirmation.
Right.
So your self-love language, wasn't supposed to be a plug, but your self-love should also be the same words of affirmation. So yeah, I see you, Queen. Good job.
And I feel like it's crazy. All right, yeah, we're trying to we're entrepreneurs, so we're trying to sell the sweatsuits, but everything we do is also because it helps us. Facts. So all of this pubbing for self-love has legitimately made me look at nice. All right, so what areas of improvement do you have? Nice. And so that's where a lot of this came from. But long story short, I start off with, what did you do well yesterday? I don't even touch what you didn't do well. I do that enough. I do that enough, so I don't even touch on that. What did you do well? And then affirmations. And I try not to do the same ones too often, and that forces me to. I can't imagine doing 100. How creative you need to get.
It's a
But
struggle sometimes. Not gonna lie.
yeah, and then I just do affirmations until I feel good, and then I go do my yoga and meditation.
Mhm.
You said animal flow, so I did once a week. I will do animal flow. And so basically that is, it's like strength and mobility training. It is very focused on mobility. So almost everything you do is on the floor. You're not really, I mean, they use like kettlebells, and there's like, I think it's called animal flow movement. There's a whole, like, it's a whole movement, a whole
Yeah.
language. It's crazy. I'm just double dabbling right now. But they have like steel maces, and everything is based on like primal behavior, like what the movements that we're doing back in, before technology, back in cave people days.
Mhm. I
um
don't know about all the way back to cave people days. Like that's pretty prehistoric, but definitely more like before development when we were out like hunting for food, which some cultures still are out there hunting for
mhm.
food, still climbing trees. So it's just a more like natural way of being for sure.
Right. So yeah, those the movements are kind of based on like what type of activities would you need to do to gather your food, to build your shelter.
Hmm.
It's yeah, we're on the ground,
Hmm.
doing a lot of stuff. So it's really cool. It's
It's
cool.
fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fun, and I
it's
like
fun.
that because I feel like I get bored with like doing squats. Like squats are not challenging, especially body weight squats.
Well, it depends on how many you do 100 body weight squats, Sinclair.
No, I'm talking about just the physical movement of doing a squat. Of course, 100 body weight squats is not, but that's boring to me.
No, it is boring for
Right.
sure.
So I like to switch it up. So yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
how was your week?
My week, it was a long week for me.
Yeah.
Like it felt like it should have been Friday, 6 Fridays ago. I was like, what day is it? It's only Tuesday. What day is it? Oh, it's still Tuesday. Oh, because I had a pretty big like work event on Friday, which went pretty well. Shout out to everyone who supported it. Much love. We have folks from Ethiopia, Ghana, Brazil, Houston, Oakland, LA, all on this one webinar or conference. That was fun that it went well, but
Mhm.
I was definitely had a lot of stress and anxiety all week
Mhm.
because of this conference. What else went well? Also, we got restocked on Black Wall Street board games. That's another thing that's been like heavy on my heart and kind
I
of
know. I know.
give me some anxiety. The fact that folks, gave us the money and we haven't been able to give them their product yet. But long story short, it was a long week. We are restocked on Black Wall Street, the board games. Very excited for that. Again, it's been heavy on the heart. The fact that people again gave us their money and they didn't get anything in return. I don't like some businesses are used to that. They just do that. It's like that's not what I'm used to.
Mhm.
So I had a lot of anxiety about that. But games are now available. They'll start shipping out next week. If you order today, they'll start shipping out next week or the week after as well. So much love on that.
Good job, Ben.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
No, that was.
Yeah, that was heavy. But yeah, it's a good week. So are you ready to get into this today's episode? We're gonna make it nice, short, and sweet because this technology is not loving us. We're gonna try to keep it shorter than usual. But we're just gonna do a nice Q&A session. All right. We did this before. We got a good response from it. So if you all have questions, feel free to send us questions on True Health Forever Instagram. Again, True Health, the number 4 ever. This will also be on YouTube, so you can comment afterwards for more questions. And maybe the next time we have a Q&A session, we will answer your question about health, wealth building, entrepreneurship, social health, all that good stuff. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. All right. So Queen, Q&A, do you want to go first? Do you want to go second? And we can, do the back and forth. But that first question, what's up? Do you want to?
I got it.
It is kind of a, historic day for Black women worldwide. So you go ahead and.
I'll take it. I got it.
No,
really, I got it. All right. It's gonna be a very simple question.
Simple question, deep answer.
Cute face. So I want to start a business.
Okay.
What's the first thing I should do?
The first thing you should do if you are interested in starting a business, I would say, is identify your superpower. Identify what makes you uniquely you, and then that's probably going to be what is going to be like the foundation of your business moving forward. So I would say that's probably the first thing, and a real close second would be identifying what problem it is that you want to solve, right? So like, or AKA, what value do you have to put inside the market? So again, looking at Black Wall Street, the board game, the problem is financial literacy. The unique value proposition or the unique skill that we brought to it was, I guess, education. Like the fact that I've been working in education for years, have that kind of connection with families, with community-based organizations. So I had a good sense of what folks like that wanted. So yeah, I would say define what your talent, what makes you unique, and then the second is what problem specifically are you solving.
Any suggestions on how, any tools or anything like that, that how to find our superpower? If that's something like, man, I just really don't know, I'm not really good at anything, like what are either some questions I can ask myself or something to help me identify?
Yep, I got you. So a few things. One, there is like a bunch of different personality tests out there that you can definitely take just to kind of know a little bit about who you are as a person. Myers-Briggs personality test, the DISC assessment. There's the
Social
True
styles.
Colors, social styles. So there's all types of stuff. So I would say just pick one or two, pick the free ones. Just
Social styles, if you type in social styles assessment, you can find it free online.
yeah, and then yeah, go with that. The second thing I would say is like think about yourself. What do your friends and family members come to you for?
Hmm.
Right. And I think personally, a lot of friends like come to me for business advice, for money advice, financial literacy. So that's already my brand has already been built amongst my friends and family for that particular industry. So for you, and you're looking at your family, who do they come to you for help? Do they come to you for recipes? Do they come to you to for events? Like if they want someone to do a birthday or a wedding, who do they go to in the family? And maybe that's probably the person who can do it for people outside the family as well. Um, yeah.
Gotcha. They come to you for relationship advice,
All right.
whatever it is.
All of that.
Cool.
So to the queen, for folks trying to start their health journey, what books would you recommend? And it doesn't
Okay.
have to be multiple. I just said books, but if it's just one, just like, oh, this is a must have, you can go with that. But go ahead, Queen.
So I read one.
It's a dynamic microphone, so it doesn't pick up
Oh,
that
okay.
much
There
stuff.
was there was a very loud car having a tantrum outside. Um, One of them was How Not to Die.
Mm.
Um, very interesting title, I know. But basically, it's a really thick book. But it's got a lot of good. I like the way they outline it. They basically outline it. I don't remember the author's
I
name.
never like. Yeah, it's hard for me to remember a lot of
Yeah,
authors'
yeah,
names
yeah,
too.
yeah.
No disrespect, y'all brilliant people, but I'm just like,
Yeah. How Not to Die. They broke it down based on the top, I believe, seven um, kind of diseases or illnesses, ailments that are currently killing us. And different fruits and vegetables, different methods, different tap, and I mean, just a whole bunch of different things, mainly based on like fruits and vegetables that you can eat to avoid or to try to prevent these things.
mm.
Um,
And to
so
avoid death.
I mean, essentially, that's the idea. Obviously, everybody's gonna die, but yeah. So I like the way they kind of lay it out. I'm like, lung cancer, I believe, is one of the chapters. So like, these are things that you can do. These are things that you can eat, to help prevent lung cancer and things like that. So I really like how they laid it out. And yeah, and I like that they get pretty practical in terms of like I think it's called the Daily Dozen. That's what he talks about on like just a dozen foods to where if you incorporate some type of in some way these dozen foods, like you are good to go. And that's very tangible. I think like when books have very tangible things. And then another one that I'm currently reading that he knows I get like hyped up comic. I'm like, well, this is good stuff. Is Natural Health for African Americans. Again, by two Black doctors. Don't remember y'all's names, but y'all the ones. Y'all the ones. Yes. But that book is really, really good at one taking a very, very holistic look, which is one thing that I like, right? We are True Health Forever about holistic health. So I love the holistic look that it talks about. Um, but it also, again, is very tangible on like these are foods that you can eat that are low glycemic, that are, complex carbs. And it even breaks it down to like, if you were to, you can go to the doctor to get, certain lab tests. There's even at home lab tests you can perform to get like your triglyceride levels, and then based on your triglyceride levels you should eat this percentage of proteins and vegetables and all this stuff, and if it's in this range you should eat this breakdown. It's just really, really
Yes,
tangible.
I'm getting excited over there.
Yeah, because it's just a great book. So those are the two I would recommend right now.
Nice. There you go. So, if you're interested in your health journey, if you're wanting to start being a health consultant to yourself, you just want to learn more research, check those two books out.
Yep.
All right. Over to you, Queen. What's up next?
Aside from Play Like Wall Street, what is the best resource for someone to learn about how to start and run a successful business?
Playblackwallstreet.com. But how to start and run a successful business. What are some free resources?
It doesn't have to be free. Just what do you think is best? Or what, it can be a two-part question, like what would you recommend now knowing what you know, and then also like what did you use?
So I think the first best, hands down, best resource. I see you smiling. Best resource is experience. Right. So I think sometimes people try to get as much information as possible and they're doing all this wonderful research and they got, okay, these are the 5, 6, 7 steps. These are things that did that. And they never actually launch. They never do it. So I would say that the best way to gain knowledge is through lived experience. So go ahead and start that business. It's not going to be started perfect. True Health Forever didn't start perfect. Play Black Wall Street didn't start perfect. These self-love sweatsuits didn't start perfect.
Still not perfect.
Right. So it's like, don't be afraid to take that first, step, unsettled step, and then get better over time. So that'll be the first one. Next, I think if you're not going to learn from your own personal experiences, being able to learn from other people's experiences. So that is, listening to podcasts. Earn Your Leisure is a really dope podcast. The True Forever podcast, where we bring on business folks, good podcast. YouTube University, just go on there and search whatever business you're trying to start and see what advice people have on there for you. Yeah, I would say that's probably what I would say. Is my turn now?
Yep.
All right. So for you, health nerd, if you could dedicate yourself, all of your knowledge, all of your amazingness to helping one particular ailment or health disparity, right? I don't want to, disease is the bad word, but basically folks that have a certain ailment, which type of or which health disparity would you want to dedicate the health nerds time, energy towards helping? And honestly, I know you're about to give me like 4 of them, but I do want to remind you of our time limit before you. Okay, cool. It's a close one, y'all.
I have 2. One of them being heart disease. I mean, it's called heart disease. Heart disease or cardiovascular disease, because that is the number 1 killer of folks, at least in the U.S. So that's why I would want to say that one to be more broad. But the other one that I was tackling with was diabetes, because that one disproportionately affects the Black community, the African community, African American community, African diaspora, whatever you want to call it, disproportionately affects us. So I feel like unless we really understand what causes diabetes, what our lifestyle habits, what lifestyle habits we have that are kind of putting us in this set state to where we are disproportionately affected by diabetes, and start to put actions towards preventing it, then I feel like it's only going to continue to kind of plague our community. And I would hate for it to, I mean, it is almost semi-normalized, and I would hate for it to get to the point where it's just like like hiccups, like you just get diabetes, like
Uh-huh.
it shouldn't, we should not, we should not normalize it that much to where, yes, all of us, I'm sure, have a family member or two who
Yeah.
have dealt with it. So definitely want to be sensitive to that, but at the same time, we want to, it's something that we can absolutely prevent and even reverse, like with a healthy diet and with healthy habits, you can reverse diabetes. So that's why I would want to go more the empowerment route of like, yes, unfortunately we are disproportionately affected by it, but we can change that. We can change that. So that's probably, I was more passionate about that one. So that's
Yes, you
probably my
were.
real answer.
Exactly. So the thing that I love about not necessarily this podcast, but the fact that we're able to have this conversation on a consistent basis, and this happens to be captured. Appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe, tell a friend, all that good stuff. Is I think we do a lot of live brainstorming and experimentation and manifesting within the podcast.
Right.
Like I don't know what episode it was, but we manifested the heck out of these self-love sweatsuits on this podcast, and now it's cool to come back and we have them actually on in an episode. It's cool to see your excitement for heart health and specifically diabetes. And I know for sure you already have some things cooking that are going to help folks with those health disparities. So I think it's cool to see the passion, and then 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, whatever the time is, to actually have manifested solutions for the problems or the things that we're talking about here. So I like that.
So can I change my two?
Sure.
As you were talking, I was like, heart disease, that's just because it's number one. It would be diabetes and high blood pressure. Nice. Because one, that's something that I've dealt with. Two, that is a precursor for almost every other
high blood pressure.
Yes. A precursor. Your blood pressure has been, research shows that, whether it's high or whether it's normal or low or whatever, is a very good telling of what type of overall health you are in, but also what type of health disparities you might see coming in the future. So if you have high blood pressure, definitely want to get that under control.
Gotcha.
And I think it's something that, again, disproportionately affects us as people because we deal with so much. I'm not trying to play oppression Olympics, but we deal with a lot more stress, on a daily basis. And those are things that raise your blood pressure.
There it is. You heard it here. The Health Nerd will help to fight high blood pressure and diabetes. Very excited to see what products you come up with. I know they're gonna be fire. All right, Queen, go ahead. Hit me with the next question.
All right. Oh, dude. Shoot. That's what I meant to say. You Loki.
Huh?
You asked me this question, so I don't know if I want to.
I did. And keep in mind, like, we didn't know what we were asking each other.
No.
That's funny.
Because I was going to ask book recommendations.
I did a whole episode on book recommendations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Y'all go back to that episode.
Oh, I have another one. Because I'm C and I come up with backup plans. I come up with another question in case you ask this question.
Well done.
What do you think is the biggest struggle every entrepreneur will face at some point in their career?
Imposter syndrome. So for those that don't know, or maybe you've been blessed and you haven't dealt with it yet, it's when you want to be an entrepreneur, you're claiming the identity of an entrepreneur, of a scholar, of a Instagram influencer, of a professor, whatever your title is, but you feel like you're not really, I guess, capable, or you don't deserve that title for whatever reason. There's lots of other psychology that goes into why you feel like you are an imposter. But I think for sure, budding entrepreneurs who are just starting out, especially if they maybe haven't gotten the huge, success, they're not millionaires yet, it can be like, man, am I really supposed to be doing this? Like when you launch your Kickstarter and it fails, man, am I really supposed to be selling board games? When a whole number of things can happen to make you kind of question, are you in the right field, entrepreneurship or otherwise? So I would say confidence / imposter syndrome is probably the hardest hurdle. Like having that, again, it all comes down to like self-love, self-esteem, and like the self-realization of who you are in this world, and just know who you are, be confident in that definition and identity, and don't let the outside world or other people just make you think otherwise from what you've already established for yourself. And that's why the 100 affirmations that I do every morning, I think are pretty good, because no matter what happens, like I've written down almost 10,000 times at this point that I'm a king, right? That I am royal, that I am a genius, I am brilliant. I've written this down almost 10,000 times. So at this point, these are facts.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
it's in my personal definition, my personal dictionary. They're facts. Yeah.
I think just to touch on one thing you said on like it imposter syndrome can come up in so many different things, but like when you're on a path, right, you start a path and then you get your first roadblock. I feel like probably a lot of people see that as some type of sign of like, see, yeah, I'm not supposed to be doing this, and then they stop and you never even got to really take your first step. Rather than seeing that as a sign that you're not supposed to do what you're doing, see that as your first obstacle that you will get over, that will start to build your confidence as an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
Right. So don't let that first don't it's good to get obstacles, right? No journey is going to be like smooth sailing. If it is, you might want to question it.
And I have a very small what's it called, piggyback on that, because Sam said this to me. Again, I was in a car accident with Sam. He was driving and he was saying like, yeah, hey, not RP, but thank you for protecting us. But he was driving and he was like, it felt like the car swerved into our lane. This was not Sam's fault. The car swerved and hit us. But he was like, I felt like the car was attacking you. I felt like the car was coming after you, and it was up to me to protect you. And like that kind of just rang in my head as like, when barriers are coming your way, you can see it as two things. You can see it as a sign that, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Or you can see it as a sign from outside forces, the system, whatever your bad guy is in your own personal superhero story, right? You can see it as
who's your Thanos?
Yeah, who's your Thanos? Avengers! Assemble! That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Let me get focused.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I had a point. Goodness. But long story short, figure out who your Thanos is, who your bad guy is in your superhero story. And every time there's a barrier, every time there's something that gets in your way, don't think this is a sign that I shouldn't be doing it, but this is a sign that someone's trying to stop me from my destiny. I am on the right pathway, but the evil forces are trying to stop me, which should just double down your efforts in trying to get over those barriers.
They wouldn't be trying to stop you if you weren't a threat.
Talk that talk.
Right. If you weren't actually supposed to be doing that, if you weren't actually going to make an impact, they would not be putting any type of energy to stop you, because it ain't gonna matter, right? If you have a barrier, that means that you are on the right path.
Keep going.
Yep. That was good, babe. And the reference that we were laughing about was I don't know if you all saw the whole parody from the Avengers Infinity War. Is that what it's called?
I think so. But I mean, I was referencing the actual movie. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was the parody too. But I was referencing the movie.
The actual movie too. But that last scene before the fighting starts, when like everybody comes back alive, and hopefully you've seen it and I'm not ruining it for you by now. But everybody comes back alive, and then Captain America's like, Avengers, assemble. It's just like the most epic, like, hurrah movie scene. I love it. Anyways.
All right. Third and final question. We said we were going to make this a short episode, but it's turning out to be a normal episode. Y'all know we like to talk. Let's see. I feel like it's interesting, our personalities, because you're a C and you wrote down all of yours and you had extra ones, and I'm a I. I was like, I'm just about to freestyle these questions. Yeah. But movies, right? You know, we're big movie. Well, I'm a big movie person, and I think by default you've been forced to become a bigger movie person, but you've always been a movie person. But if you're thinking of like health movies or movies about functional movements, I don't know, but like when you think of yourself as a health consultant, as a health nerd, and if you were going to give your community members movies to either learn about health or just get pumped up about fitness, what are some movies, or at least one movie, that you would put on that list? And I talked a little bit extra just to give you more time to buffer internally, Queen. Hopefully it was enough to have you go through your Rolodex. All right, cool.
So you say movie, but mine's going to be documentary. Is that okay?
Yeah. Forget it. This podcast is brought to you by...
What the Health.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, What the Health on Netflix. I've already recommended that to many people, but when I first watched that, it was very eye-opening. I mean, I had already known a lot of that stuff, but to see it, one, obviously they do a lot of research and make it very easy to digest. But to just there's a very eye-opening documentary on why things are the way why things are the way they are, kind of how the system works, but also just, and it's been so long since I've seen it. But yeah, what steps we can take to better our health. I think that one, if you especially are at the kind of the beginning of your health journey, that is a very good one to just change your mindset a little bit for, I think, for the better. And just it just that the first step to anything is awareness, right? If you are at least aware now that this food is not as the best for you or whatever, then you might think twice before eating it the next time. And that is the first step, right? Is being aware of what you're putting into your body. So that's why, like, the first thing that I don't have any official clients, but I have unofficial clients that
I'm an official client. What you mean?
Oh, my bad.
I pay you and everything.
But the first thing,
love.
Hey, love that currency. Is to like start some type of food journal, or some type of I mean, it doesn't have to be a physical journal. It can be an app, but something that starts to track what you're eating, because that makes you aware. Because again, that is the first step. Before you even make any change in your diet, you need to at first be aware of what you're putting in your body. And that's important because we do a lot of mindless eating, especially in today's days. If you're working from home, you have the kitchen right there. It's probably very easy when you're just bored, right? Sometimes we just eat out of boredom.
Facts.
And it will start to at least trigger, like, oh, are you actually hungry right now? Like, what are you eating? Is this going to be good for you, bad for you? Yeah. So I think that, long story short, watching What the Health will just raise your awareness for a lot of things, like diet, like, I don't remember how much they talk about exercise and What the Health, but it's a very holistic view on kind of the food system and how we should kind of shift, towards eating more plant-based meals.
There you go. Well, thank you all for the Q&A session. Again, if y'all have specific questions that you want answered next time, send us a DM or comment on our True Health, the number 4 ever Instagram page, or when this is uploaded to YouTube, you can leave a comment there as well. All right, Queen, any other announcements you want to get into? I know I have an announcement that I want to give, but do you have any announcements you want to give before we let folks go?
When is this going to be aired?
This will be aired next week, my precious.
So can we?
Of course. That was
the announcement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we rock it. First of all, you see the black self-love substance, which should be
surprise.
New. Right. We added a color. But self-love sweatsuits are officially available.
Yeah.
Woo!
We got 4 different colorways, or 3 right now. By the time this goes, maybe the 4th one will be ready for you as well. But we have the royal black, which we have on right now. We have the mighty maroon. We have the breathe blue, and then we have the shades of gray. Each has a different kind of health disparity or awareness cause behind it. So definitely head to the True Health, the number 4 ever.com website, truehealthforever.com, so you can see the different colorways, and you can also see what each one is supposed to represent too.
It is so comfortable, y'all.
It's
extremely comfortable,
especially now during this gloomy time.
Yeah, we took a walk earlier and it was perfect for this weather. It just feels like you're hugging yourself all the time. Self-love. Okay, we were very intentional.
Yes. All right, beautiful people, thank you again for joining us for the True Health Forever podcast, where we try to live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
And I'm Sinclair, aka
the Health Nerd. Make sure y'all stay healthy. Make sure y'all stay mentally wealthy. And of course, make sure y'all stay true.